In 2009, Halo 3 ODST was released, a game about a squad of ODSTs. The story takes place during Halo 2, as the pod drop clearly suggests. After a slip space jump mid-drop, Rookie wakes up at nighttime with no clue as to what happened. You take to the streets of New Mombasa and discover what happened to your squad. The thing with this game is that I had just discovered Halo 3 in the summer of 2009 through borrowing it from a friend, and of course, falling in love. I never did own Halo 3 until a year later, but it was around Christmas time and I wanted it now! As I lived in a very rural area with no GameStop or a credit card to order online, as I was just 15, I asked my brother who lived in Reykjavik to buy it for me for Christmas. It was like a really demanding request for a gift. What I ended up getting was Halo 3 ODST. Wait, what? It's the wrong game! It's like asking for Gears of War, but getting Gears of War Judgment. But I eventually put it into the Xbox 360 and played through it on the 24th of December. Now, let's talk about the campaign. One thing that I think every single person will agree on is the music being seriously intoxicatingly orgasmic. Marty O'Donnell just upped his legendary composer status with this soundtrack. Just deference for darkness is something I can't listen to without feeling something. It's a masterpiece. Yes, One Final Effort is an epic piece that is fluently wondrous. Never Forget is the epitome of beauty. But if you had a Spartan laser to my head, a certain part of me wants to pick this one as his best work. The soundtrack fits the game perfectly. ODST also executed its atmosphere flawlessly. Look at the state of New Mombasa. You've got graffiti on the walls from troubled and desperate civilians. There are roadblocks everywhere. Destroyed vehicles, flares all around. It's in disarray. Then you've got some light rain and of course, the music. You're also not a Spartan, you're an orbital drop shock trooper. You don't have shields anymore. Your health bar is stamina. This feels like a completely different type of Halo game, but it's still so Halo. The noir type story is also a fresh take on the universe. It was very interesting to see the new narrative decision for Bungie at this time. They wanted to have a sense of mystery and have you solving some clues. Although the clues are very easy to find due to the nav mechanic, it's still rewarding to find a new clue that sparks your interest. After you find a clue, you take control of a different squad mate at an earlier time of day, splitting the narrative down. I loved this approach of storytelling. It gave you a nice balance of shooty fun time and scary but tranquil loneliness. I personally like playing the shooty fun time missions a tad bit more, but mainly because they are so varied in nature and offer different game mechanics. The mission with the makeshift bridge comes to mind. The one where you have to take a ghost and zoom past all the enemies is also a good one. How about the one where you meet an officer that needs to check on something, and if you follow him, he gets secretive and tries to kill you because you know too much. This campaign is littered with nice little touches like these. Also, seeing the game tie in with the events from Halo 2 was super interesting. Knowing that Master Chief was down there for like 20 seconds and then poof, gone, was fascinating. Through playing the campaign, you come across lore-expending audio logs that are not subpar for once. These audio logs are very stimulating to listen to, and you want to hear more. Bravo, Bungie. Ooh, I almost forgot to mention, the Zoomable Magnum is back, and it sounds like sex, man. One thing that bugged me about the combat mechanics is the new trajectory the grenades are thrown. It goes much higher than in other games. It's like they're playing badminton, where you gotta hit it upwards instead of tennis, where you can just fire it as hard as your strength can muster. I find myself having to acclimate to the new trajectory for 10 throws or so, and then I'm good. That is until I start playing any other game in the series, where they actually go straight. Another thing is the characters. I can't be the only one that forgets what the personality traits are for Mickey, Dutch, or even Romeo, right? We all just remember Buck. The Rookie is probably just thinking about wicker furniture, or if there's such a thing as quadruple A batteries. The character that really resonated with the most of us was Buck, as he had all the memorable lines and more focus than his other squad mates. I don't think it's the writer's fault, it's just that Nathan Fillion is so natural as a voice actor. The thing that I hate about this campaign is simply that it's too short. I know it's kind of a cop-out answer, but really, it's just so short, man. The average completion time just getting through the story in a normal manner is 5 hours. If you're playing on Legendary Solo, it's maybe around 7 hours, but it's still rather easy. Definitely the easiest game to finish on Legendary Solo. It could have gotten 3 more missions at least to make it feel more complete with content. Everybody was salivating for more. Although the campaign is short, it's well deserving of its praise. The music, atmosphere, and interesting narrative gives it the spin a non-Master Chief Halo game needs. Although I didn't find myself connecting to most of the characters, my mind absorbed the world and I felt like I was the character I was playing. I'm very happy my brother bought this game for me, as it kept me entertained during my holiday of 2009. Oh boy, we're getting into the rowdy with the chance of meatballs now. This was the first Halo game I was really looking forward to playing, and the last Halo game Bungie were going to make. There were so many crazy features like Firefight, a campaign about what happened before Halo Combat Evolved, Invasion, armored abilities, most importantly jetpacks, new Forge. This was a very exciting time for gamers. I got it on day 1 and played the campaign by myself on Heroic, as you're supposed to. Let's, if they came to hear me beg achievement, right into this. Okay, where do I start? How about at the start? You're introduced to quite a noble of a team. They call themselves Noble Team. You have Carter, Noble 1, the commander of the group. A serious, no-nonsense Spartan. Kat, Noble 2, the intelligence specialist. She has a robot arm. It's pretty cool. Jun, Noble 3, the thoughtful and tranquil soldier. He serves as the sniper. Emil, Noble 4, the aggressive assault specialist. He doesn't afraid of anything. George, Noble 5, the heavy weapon specialist and the only Spartan 2 on the team. He's a gentle soul and his fondness for Reach is unparalleled. And of course, Noble 6, you. No special role, just a jack of all trades. Together, they are a force to be reckoned with, as you'll come to see in the campaign. Planet Reach has been invaded by Covenant forces, and it's up to Noble Team and the UNSC to protect it from the overwhelming numbers, no matter the cost. The missions in this one are not short and sweet like in ODST, but are much longer and filled with action against a plethora of enemies. The amount of enemies make things very fresh on the battlefield. You've got grunts, jackals, skirmishers, buggers, brutes, elites, hunters, and the Gueta? What does that say? Is it David Guetta? Is that David Guetta? Those weird trolls with the fangs and Nightfall. So already we're seeing new enemies, and let me tell you, the enemy AI is astounding, especially on Legendary. They evade you when they're the most vulnerable, and their teammates come to rescue them. It's pretty sweet. And another thing, I think this game has the most vicious and difficult elites. They really do feel like they could go toe-to-toe against a Spartan. A minor elite will probably not be too hard to take out, but a Zealot elite will give you a run for your money. The elites are seriously scary in this one, especially in packs. Really elevates the desperation of the atmosphere. Also, I want to mention that the grenade launcher is the best weapon in the history of anything. It can take out shields, eliminate a group of enemies in one shot, and EMP vehicles. It's also the most satisfying to use. This game focuses on the inevitable demise of Reach, and you know it falls if you played Combat Evolved. The emotional turmoil of seeing a civilization come to an end is heartbreaking, man. You see bodies lying on the ground, hear screams of terrified civilians, and witness the UNSC having to make very hard decisions that will always result in death. It's tough to experience. The mission Long Night of Solace is probably the most versatile of any other mission in the Halo franchise. You storm a beach, kind of like in Halo CE, and make your way into a facility that has a space shuttle. You think you're just going to get a cutscene of you flying out, but then BAM! You're in a dogfight in space. You're fighting around a Covenant carrier, and you land on it, infiltrate it in zero gravity, and blow it like a fusion coil surrounded by plasma batteries. This mission is probably the most memorable for most, as it carries a lot of emotional weight to it, but the real winner is probably Lone Wolf, the final mission. You're all by yourself, as most of your team has perished in the battle for Reach. You've decided to stay and make a last stand against an onslaught of Covenant. The mission objective is simple: survive. You see a few enemies and take them out with ease. More appear, and more, until you're out of ammo and need to pick up weapons from dead soldiers. Other fallen Spartans are visible, and you're destined to join them. As you take damage, your visor starts to crack. You give 110% to avenge your fallen comrades and kill as many of these alien bastards as you possibly can. Eventually, they get you, but you gave them quite a fight. This was the ending Reach needed. Yes, it's dark, and yes, you feel sad, but you knew the ending. This had to happen. It's seriously impressive what they did with this. This is a bit tricky. The point I'm about to make kind of deserves to be in between the things I like and things I didn't particularly like, but it has to appear somewhere, so here goes. There's barely any character development in the game. The members on Noble Team are just soldiers that focus on their mission 100%. Sure, we have a little hint of how their personalities are, like Emil's sassiness and George's gentle nature towards the people of Reach. But the characters don't have an arc or have anything redeeming about them other than they're protecting a planet. And that's okay. See, the game isn't about them. It's about Reach and its impending fall. The characters are merely in the background, protecting this vital planet. Although the story is littered with military talk that not everyone will understand, the storyline is coherent. Just like in Dunkirk, it's not about the characters, but about the setting and location. Maybe some of you connected with their personalities, and that's completely fine. But for me personally, this is a semi-good, semi-bad factor. In the opening cutscene, Noble 6 is putting on his helmet. I'm a huge fan of the EVA helmet, and I have been personally using it ever since Halo 3. Anyway, in this cutscene, your Noble 6 turns the helmet around and prepares to put it on his head. When he turns it, you can clearly see that Bungie was not in the mood to make every single interior for every helmet in the game. It's merely one design, and it's weird when you have a gigantic visor like on the EVA or pilot helmet, and then a tiny visor. Since we're on the topic of customization, the fact that your armor shows up perfectly in the cutscenes works very well in making you feel like this is your journey. Oh yeah, this is a things I liked category now, so when I think of Noble 6, I think of my red Spartan with his 2 white shoulder pads and golden EVA helmet. Alright, you can make the transition back to... I have one little nitpick that was always a bit odd to me, and that's when Carter is dropping you off in the Pillar of Autumn. See, okay, here he goes, he's counting down, and you and Emil are like, okay, I'm ready to jump out now. And then you jump out and take like that many seconds, I don't remember. You take that many seconds to drop, and then you look up and he's flying over you again. Like, did he just stall? Did he do like a flip in the air or something? It just doesn't make sense. Like, it's like a continuity error, and it's always pissed me off, but nobody seems to be talking about it. So I don't understand why it's that way. Is there like an explanation for this? Not many games have had an effect on me as much as Halo Reach. It was my first on-launch Halo game, and it introduced me to competitive gaming. It was the first game I played so frequently, I broke the disc from the Xbox scratching it, and it resulted in me having to buy a new copy. Bungie did a tremendous job with Halo Reach. It shows that war is relentlessly brutal, and it's nice to see the end lining up perfectly with Halo CE. The gameplay is great, the music is flawless, and the atmosphere is superb. I think we can all say that we will never stop remembering Reach. Well, this took a while, but here it is. College has been kicking my ass, and it's really hard for me to be on time with videos. Sorry again. So, what do you think? Agree? Disagree? Do you wish me death? Whatever it is, the like button should work, the comment section is open, and a subscription wouldn't hurt. Stay gentle, you magnificent ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully soon.